My next guest is a diva of fashion who provokes extreme emotions in people. One admirer likened her to Aphrodite. On the other hand, she's been voted the most difficult woman of all time. They obviously never met Meg Ryan. For... cheap crack. I take it back, Meg. For 20 years, she's been one of the world's top models, the queen of the catwalk. Good going for a former shop assistant. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, please, Naomi Campbell. So, actually, I do get to meet people backstage normally, but this is the very first time we've ever met, isn't it?
Yeah, because I always think it's bad luck, so...
Meeting before you come
yeah.
on? Oh, I see. All right. Let's talk about this reputation of yours.
It's pretty bad in this country.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why is that? Why do you provoke such reaction in people, do you think?
I just think people, in general, like, who are in the public eye are targets, and, I mean... I've definitely done wrong in growing up in this business since I was 15 years old in terms of making my mistakes and learning from them. I'm not a saint, I'm a human being.
What mistakes would you say you made?
I've done so many mistakes.
So many?
I mean, there's no handbook on how to be a model and, you know, all the cliches that you come up against. You just deal with it when you come up against it.
What don't you like about Naomi Campbell?
No, I like myself today.
You do? You're happy today?
Yeah.
Let's tell me, you took this business of people not liking you to the courts when, in fact, you actually sued the Mirror.
It wasn't so much people not liking me. I think with the Mirror situation, it was more about me wanting to go to my recovery in privacy. I think recovery is a very good thing. I think it's something they should teach in schools. You know, you can get caught up in drugs and alcohol and not think you have a way out. And that's exactly what happened to me. And then when I did make the decision with myself and to people around me that cared about me to want to go away and fix what I had to fix and face my demons, it was, I think, a positive attitude. On the other hand, coming home here to London, which is where I'm from, I couldn't have the privacy to go to meetings like other people could. It's called anonymous. And I don't want to be a martyr of the program, and I don't want to be the person that stands up for it. I think it's just something that people should have the right to go to in privacy because gossip kills, that's what they say. So
that's part of the creed of the NA, is it? Narcotics Anonymous?
AANA, yeah.
Right. So, but nonetheless, I mean, it was a brave thing to do because, I mean, this is a very powerful organisation. I mean, they don't muck around. And, well, I mean, a lot of people would have...
I think one of the reasons is because I could deal with them attacking me, but them attacking my family and making jokes about the colour of the skin and making criticism on my mother and my grandmother was very personal to me. And I think that's why I had the strength to say, well, I want to go all the way.
What's your situation now in regards to rehabilitation?
I go to meetings in every country I'm in.
So you're just permanent in a permanent state of rehabilitation?
Once an alcoholic addict, always an alcoholic addict. Yeah.
Well, what about, I mean, you're not going to blank me like he did about this, but what's I mean, how bad was it?
Everyone is different. Everyone has their limits and different volumes. I mean, personally, alcohol was not something that I really cared for, but when you stop drugs, you have to stop everything. And I just, you know, now I just, you know, I'm talking about it candidly here for the first time, but it's, I just say, like, when I did another interview in America, I have an allergy, I can't do it anymore. Besides the fact, when I did do it, it was, I took my first drug at 24 years old, and it got to a point of I lost 7 people in 1997, Gianni Versace, my friend Ennis Cosby got murdered, and it was also a build-up of grief and trying to numb my pain and say, I can deal with it, I'm dealing with it, I'm fine.
What kind of drugs were you on?
I did a drug, a speedy drug.
A speedy drug? Mm-hmm. Like cocaine? Mm-hmm. Is it prevalent in your industry? Don't read so much about heroin chic and that sort of thing.
It's in every industry. No one forced me to do it. I did it because I wanted to. I don't have any blame for anyone but myself. And I think it goes back to many different reasons. It could be childhood problems. It could be so many things. You just, you know, it could be just like me not feeling comfortable in my own skin. Like I'm sitting in a restaurant a couple of days ago in Miami and I'm like, why are they looking at me? Because I forget that I'm a model and that I'm in the magazines, that they know my face. They don't know me personally or what I feel.
Does that still affect you? Does that... I mean, I'm amazed by this because from
well,
the age
there's two sides of me. There's one side that's extrovert. I'm able to sit here and do this. And there's another side of me that's very introverted and I get shy and it takes me an hour to walk into a door of an event. So, I don't know.
Well, when you... let's investigate this business of you becoming a model in the first place, because, I mean, it's a well-known told tale that you were 15 years of age working in Topshop and a Saturday sort of relief.
14. I was
14, were you?
Yeah. I said I was 16. I didn't have a national insurance card, so I couldn't get my wage. But I didn't care. I just was so happy to be independently getting on the bus on Saturdays, going to a Saturday job, and I felt very grown up, you know.
And a woman walked in and said, I'm going to make you a star.
No, she didn't actually see me in Topshop. She saw me in Covent Garden. I was kind of taking a long detour from school, going home the long way. And she came up to me. I couldn't explain that to my mother very easily. But when I did, a year later, she was like, I don't want you to model. It's not what I want to do. This is a bad world. It's corrupt. This is going to happen to you. And none of those things did happen to me. It only happened to me if I wanted it to happen to me.
So all the bad things that have happened to you have been sort of self-indulgent bad things, in a sense?
It's not even bad. You could be a stockbroker in Wall Street and you could be doing drugs. It doesn't really, you know, everyone goes through whatever they go through.
What about I mean, is it as glamorous as it appears to be?
I mean, I do like 4 planes a week. I crossed the Atlantic 2 weeks ago 4 times. Went to Germany, came back, stayed a day in New York, went back to Athens, came back. I mean, it's tiring, but I mean, I have no regrets. I mean, I'm 34 years old and I've been working since I was 15 and a half and I'm still working at the same pace as I was working when I was 15. So I'm really blessed and very grateful.
You've outlasted most of the other supermodels, haven't you? I mean, you're really now the veteran of the catwalk.
I'm a grandmother.
You're a grandmother.
It's like, I think when you like what you do it to the best of your ability. If I don't like a job that's offered to me, then I don't commit myself to it and I don't give it my all. If this past August, I just stayed in New York, went to school, didn't do vacation like I usually do. I just felt like I wanted to stay in my home, buy kitchen knives and hangers and stuff like that I don't get to do.
Again, I would imagine as well that one of the barriers you came against, again, at the time that you started modelling, I mean, there weren't too many black models around, were there?
And I mean, I was very lucky in the sense that I worked for Yves Saint Laurent and I worked for Asdine Alaya. And I remember when they said to me in the cover I wanted a cover of French Vogue because I saw these other girls like Linda and Christy saying, can I have a cover? And they'd be like, no problem. I said, can I have a cover? They said, not allowed, never had a black girl. And I was like, now what's the way I can get around this?
That must have been very hurtful, wasn't it?
Well, you know, that's the thing. You have to learn not to take things personally. And I had good people around me that I thought, okay, well, I'm going to challenge this. So I went to Yves Saint Laurent, who was their biggest advertiser, and I said, they won't put me on the cover. He said, well, if they don't put you on the cover, I'm not giving them my clothes. And I'm not going to give the advertising. And they can't afford not to have that. So that's how I got my first cover.
A very significant moment, too, of course. I mean, it really was.
Yeah, I think...
It's these tiny things add up to a whole sort of picture of acceptance.
Well, when I get a cover of something, even now, like I'm on the cover of Greek Vogue for the Olympics and German Vogue, I just think it's not just for me, it's for the generation of girls before me, after me.
Why have you lasted, do you think?
I don't know. I like what I do. Can you believe
But
it?
it must have been some different to that. What about the sacrifice you've made? I mean, you've never married.
No, I nearly got married, but I didn't think it was right, and it was too quickly that he asked me, and then I was being in Dublin, and in Dublin I heard you can't get divorced if I was made the wrong decision. So I know, but you know what? I'm friends with all my ex-boyfriends. We're really good friends, and that's what's important. If I was such a bad person, they wouldn't trust me and telling me their personal things.
Do you, but I mean, would you one day want to get married?
Yeah, to the right person, but I never want to get divorced. That's why when I think I've been waiting.
You can't guarantee that, can you?
I know, there's no guarantees, but I know if I had gotten married before, in my 20s, I would have been divorced, and I don't want that. So I hopefully will find the right soulmate in my 30s.
When you find the right soulmate, would you propose to him?
No.
You wouldn't do that?
I wouldn't even make the first kiss. I wouldn't even try to make the approach for the first kiss. I'm just completely like, takes me like about half an hour to make eye contact.
You're shy?
Yeah.
But Denzel's shy too, so I read. Just another myth. I read that you proposed to your wife on the telephone.
She told me no.
Is that right?
Yeah,
so
she said no.
She said no?
She said no.
So what happened
I
then?
kept working.
You kept calling her. Talking about mentors, I was talking there to Denzel about Sidney Poitier. Your mentor, of course, is one of the most fascinating men of all. It's Nelson Mandela, isn't it? So how did you come to meet him?
When I met him when he first came out into New York, 1990. And there was an event in Tribeca. And then I went to South Africa soon after that for Miss World. And while I was doing Miss World, I was working with Iman and Blair Underwood. And Blair Underwood said to me, "We are working for the wrong people. We are taking money from the wrong people." And I suddenly got all nervous. So I then got on stage and said, "I donate all my money to the ANC." And then I got a phone call.
Move.
I got a phone call the next day from Quincy Jones saying, "Do you want to go to Johannesburg? Do you want to meet Mr. Mandela Madiba?" So I went, and he's just been in my life ever since. And I talk about everything with him. He's, I mean, it's like a saint. He's very down to earth, very honest. He calls on your birthdays, and he's a special person. There's no one like him.
Now, what about, again, going back to this image where we started this this conversation? Do you think people looking in now would form a different opinion of you?
I have no idea. That's the thing. Everyone has their opinions, and I can't change their minds about who I am. I can just be honest to myself and be the best to myself of who I am.
But do you think, does it matter to you now? Does it matter that you want to change people's minds now?
Well, I'm sitting here, I'm being more open in terms of doing interviews. Interviews is something that I used to be really afraid of doing. And I think I used to hide behind my hair. I used to I'm not wearing my contact lenses for the first time in years. I used to hide behind those. I guess as I get older, I want to be remembered for the things that I've done in my work, and not for the personal things that my private life has spilled out to be, said about.
On the personal things, the question, a topic.
I won't ever talk about boyfriends. So
no, I'm not going to ask you about, but I'm not interested.
Me either.
I was going to make the link, but I won't. But the one question I'd like to ask you is you talked earlier on to me about the anger you had inside you, which might have led to taking drugs or whatever. And
I'd say grief.
Oh, grief. Well, all right. Maybe the same thing, because one of the things that I read about you that you kind of thought about was maybe your father leaving your home when you were a kid.
I think, honestly, I don't know where he is, but I think that's made me a person that's been I've always been very independent and a survivor, my mother says, and I think that's partly the reason. In the 70s, my mother was young, my father was young. Who knows why he had to leave? I think when I'm ready to find him, I will, but it's something I've always said when I'm married, I'd like to take that on. It's a lot to take on right now.
That's to be my question, if you felt now secure enough to actually find him.
No, I don't feel secure enough right now.
But when you find the right man, then that will be the time.
Yeah.
All right, when you make him a granddad.
Yeah, maybe. I'd love to have kids. Whether I adopt, I'd like to have them naturally. I just try to live each day within the day. I don't try to plan what I'm going to do tomorrow. I don't like to plan what I'm going to do next week. I'm not able to say, someone says, "Oh, let's do this in 2 months." I'll say, "Well, let's see," Before I'd be saying yes to everybody, trying to do every single thing and please everybody. And now I'm just trying to please myself, because it sounds selfish, but it doesn't put you in so much of a confusion of have a boundary there.
It's your life, girl.
Thank you.
Naomi Campbell.
Thank you so much.
Well done.
Good for you.